What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, fam. How y'all doing today?
Hello, everyone. I'm Tuesday. This is Wavy, Wifey, and Wifey. Welcome back. Today we are doing a podcast and obviously a little striptease. Ooh. Take it off. Take it.
All right, y'all. That was enough. I don't want y'all to see too much of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we're gonna jump into the pod.
I mean, yeah, sure.
And make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe
on this video.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. People of the world, of the city, of the state, of the apartment complex. I don't really know where y'all live.
If you stay in our apartment complex, that's
kind of weird.
Low key, yeah. A little weird. But, I mean, say hi if you see us out in the parking lot, I guess.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Bob's Burger Filled Day with Wifey and Wifey. I am Wavy. This is Baby. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tuesday, and when I've had a long day, I like to indulge in a little Bob's Burgers.
I hate that show. So, there's
Hey.
that. It's cool though. You know, I tolerate it. I do. She suffers through
it.
plenty of shows for me. Rom-coms, all of it.
Yeah. But anyways, welcome to Wifey and Wifey. I'm Tuesday, my wife Wavy, and we're here for a podcast. Very interesting.
Why you telling my name again?
You throwing me off.
I'm messing with you, baby. Go ahead.
We have a very interesting podcast episode planned. My wife has already decided she's going to act up, so it should be a very entertaining episode. Before we start, though, how are you, my baby, the love of my life?
You ain't gotta be so dramatic. I'm doing well.
The woman I married on April 28th, 2019. The year of our Lord.
Is it my turn now?
Yeah, go ahead.
You done with your bullshit?
Yeah.
I'm doing good.
9 years.
I'm doing well.
Of bliss.
She's not gonna talk over me. That's what's not about to happen. Especially for somebody so ticklish. That's wild. I will grab your leg. You want me to grab your leg?
I'm done. I'm done. Truce.
Truce, my behind. Doing good. Had the day off today. Made some moves today. Did some things today. And, you know, maybe one day will be great. Who knows?
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Today felt alright. You know, not quite great, but I gave it a good solid 7 out of 10.
I'll take that. I'll take 7 out of 10. It wasn't bad. Kids got a new caseworker.
Yeah, so we met our new caseworker.
Hopefully that's better than it has been. Or maybe it won't be. Who knows? Only time will tell. How are you, love? What's your 7 out of 10 day?
I'm good. Shout out to anybody who does like social work, because y'all work too much and y'all do too much, and I be feeling bad, but
it's not my problem, to be honest.
Yeah, being on the other end of it is kind of like also
just as tiring. So
yeah, it's also tiring.
You know.
But like I said, it was a 7 out of 10 day. We had a good day together.
We did.
With the littlest one, we had pizza for dinner. Been finishing up a little bookie book, because that's what I do.
I'm editing a bookie book because I'm your wife and I love you.
Yeah, so we're making some moves over here. Yeah, I get to choose which topic.
She always tells the topic anyway, so why do I gotta choose? Just surprise me. That's what happens most of the time anyways.
Today we are going to talk about the 7-year itch. And if you don't know what the 7-year itch, it's the idea that after 7 years, roundabout, things can start getting a little shaky, little quaky in a relationship. That's around the mark where people start getting divorced or breaking up or whatever. And why is that? Is it true? Is it real? Why? We're gonna deep dive. Not really deep dive. We're just we don't have no sources to cite.
What they say on
we're just talking shit.
On Fruit Loops, we're not journalists, investigators, or psychologists. So
I'm just someone running my goddamn mouth
every day. You feel?
I'm a fiction writer, so a lot of this shit really
off the dome,
freestyle.
Nah, y'all, we be giving y'all some gems. Whether y'all collecting them, putting them in the safe, not my business. Throw them out.
Hey, not my business.
Yeah. So 7-year itch.
We've been together 9 years coming up in April. So I guess we're kind of over that hump.
Sure, yeah.
Been past the 7-year mark. Did you feel an itch? Did you feel like tension in our relationship when we hit a certain milestone, whether it was 7 or 5 or whenever?
I don't know if it had anything to do with milestones. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There was a point where you like gave me an ultimatum, and I think I went off on you a little bit, like about our relationship. But that wasn't at 7 years. I think that was at like 5.5 ish. Because I mean, it was at least a year before we moved in here, which would be like 6, 5.5.
Yeah. So around that time,
5.5 ish.
That was a short-lived tension. That was like
it was, but
days.
I mean,
of us getting into it.
It was, but I mean, that's the only time I could think of where it was like, the fuck is going on in this relationship? Not like
off the wall.
Crazy. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of off the wall crazy, but you know, whatever. We were young and dumb and doing stupid stuff and upset.
Yeah,
hormones went rampant. Anybody in a lesbian relationship knows that. Maybe we were both on our period. I don't know.
It's quite possible.
So, I mean, other than that, I mean, I really don't know if I feel like the 7-year itch is a thing. I think people tend to have this expectation that everything is always going to be new and exciting, but eventually things have to settle into a comfortable normal.
Yeah.
And, you know, after a while, it takes a while to really get to know somebody, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that. They think that, oh man, we met each other and we fell in love, and in 6 months he proposed at a year, and then we got married at 2 years, and then, you know, it's just going to continue to be like high after high and topping after topping after topping.
Yeah. When
eventually, like, the dust settles and you actually know almost everything about your partner, and there's not always going to be like something to be topped and excitement to be had. Some days are just like normal life, yeah. You know? And I think people tend to get to the point where it's like, you don't want that. You always want excitement, and that's not real life.
Yeah.
The honeymoon period can't last forever, and people sometimes seem not to know how to deal when that period is over. And to me,
I definitely agree. The honeymoon does not last forever. And when the dust settles and things plateau, and it's just like, we're like creatures of habit because we're humans, right? So it's like, you come home, you put on Bob's Burgers, y'all eat dinner, and then you go to bed. And that's just the cycle of life. And, not saying that you can't have excitement or infuse different like things into your relationship. But for the most part, once you have established a relationship, y'all have gotten to get to know each other, the honeymoon is over, the butterflies ain't fluttering like they used to. These butterflies is old. I still get them, but the butterflies, they a little slow, they
I
a little
wouldn't even say
dusty.
slow. It's just like certain things for me.
Yeah.
Like certain things always give me butterflies, and some stuff like you just
You get
mellow
used
out.
to,
Like
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like that butterfly feeling should not
Be the
be
only
the thing
thing.
that equates you to like your relationship being worth your time and exciting. Like that's
Yeah.
insane.
Because like I said, I still get butterflies. Like if it's been even just a couple of hours and I see you walk in the door, I get, a little fluttery feeling. But it's not new and exciting to see your face every day. We've been looking at each other
For 9 years.
for 9 years. She's still beautiful to me. I still love her. But to think I'm just gonna get like this overwhelming physical, emotional, psychosomatic response every time she walks in a room after 9 years is kind of like lunacy.
Whoever knew when you sent me that terrible picture on Craigslist that would
Man.
end up here. The picture was bad. I wish that I knew how to get that picture. It was terrible.
I might still be able to dig it up. But yeah, like it's just life is monotonous. We're all kind of just living in a loop for the majority of it.
And y'all,
There's nothing wrong with that.
then you're gonna have people talking about, man, Tuesday and Wavy making it seem like being in a relationship is not even worth my time if it's gonna be boring and this and that. That is not what we're saying at all.
It's not at all.
You fall into what's supposed to be a comfortable norm with your partner.
Yeah.
We're saying monotonous, and I think that sometimes has a bad connotation, but you fall into a comfortable norm with your partner where you guys are working, striving for better for your family, for your life, and you're going to work. And I mean, that's just life. Not everybody's life, but for the majority of people, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And there's always a way to make it exciting and have those moments of rekindling and making sure that the fire doesn't burn out. But I think people sometimes are selfish, and that's where you get this thing where like the 7-year itch comes in, because people feel like, oh well, you're not doing the same things that you used to do when we first got together, and I'm just tired of it. Because people do tend to change their expectations once a relationship gets to a certain point of seriousness, which to be honest is not fair. I feel like we've touched on this prior, maybe, to where if you're doing certain things for somebody all the time in a relationship, and then all of a sudden you tired of doing it, like, yeah, they're gonna kind of be confused, because I mean, you've been doing it for 5 years. Why would I expect you to do anything different? Especially if you're not a couple with good communication, right?
Yeah.
And then now they're looking for those things that they used to see in you in somebody else, possibly, or
they're resenting you because you're not showing up in the way that
they're used to, or that they feel that they need, when really if y'all would have just had a conversation, or somebody would have just opened their mouth about how they're feeling, you know what I mean? So,
and I think even for us, there's times when I feel like I've dropped the ball and I could do more, but I think we communicate enough where it's like, we have 2 kids and so much going on. She know I'm tired because I be telling her, and vice versa. Like, so it's not like I be like, well, why she didn't write me a love letter? Why she didn't kiss my cheek? We try to put in as much effort as we can to keep things interesting and stay connected. And even if it's like simple things, we've talked about the notebook we write in. even like lately we've been rewatching or like binge watching Real Housewives of Atlanta. We started from the very beginning, and we'll just sit here together and watch and talk mess and just have a good old time.
Yeah.
And that's, I feel connected to her. It doesn't have to be this grand exaggerant thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why the 7-year itch comes, because it's like people have such an unrealistic idea of what a relationship is and what it means to be in love, and it's completely unsustainable.
Yeah, this
you can't go on helicopter rides and 3 dozen roses at somebody's house every Tuesday night when you want to spice it up. You know, like, you have to
unless you got it like that, that's your business.
If you do,
lucky you. Hey, hit me up.
buymeacoffee.com/wifey and wifey. If you got it like that.
for regular people, that's just not a thing.
Yeah.
You know, you have to find small ways to stay connected on a daily basis.
Yeah. And you have to put the work in consistently.
Yeah. It's like sometimes I know we live in this age of like social media, right? And a lot of the times people will say like, if your relationship is work, you probably shouldn't be in it. Like, those people
probably not in relationships
at all. And if they are in relationships, they probably won't be in relationships in the next year.
Yeah.
Because even when you love somebody wholeheartedly and loving them is easy, you still have to work.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, you can't, love is not enough as far as like the emotion, right? Because emotions are not actions. They do nothing except make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
So the fact that I love her isn't going to make her dinner or wash the dishes or, you know, clean the bedroom or the bathroom or, you know, fold the laundry. Like, love don't do that. Love gives me the feeling of like, hey, I appreciate this person and I want to do something for them. That way they're less overwhelmed, but I still have to put the action into it.
Yeah.
So I think that's where people are like, love should never be hard. I mean, it's not hard, but you still have to put in work for your relationship. And it is.
Love ain't hard, but life is. And if you're committing your life to living with someone, being in love with them, and going through this crazy up and down journey that we're all on, then yeah, you have to put some work in. It's gonna be some tough times. It's gonna be when like y'all are getting on each other's nerves, or, you know, even just rough patches. All of those things are normal. What you have to do, the way you react to it is how you get on the other side of this quote unquote itch.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. But if any time you're saying that to yourself, you're done.
Yeah.
Because if it's that easy for you to turn your back, whether it's at 7 months, 7 years, 20 years.
What were y'all really at that point?
It's a thing of convenience, and this is not. This ain't about that.
Yeah, a real relationship is not that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And I think at 7 years, that's the point where things start getting complicated. People have been together for a while. Life has changed, and it's not convenient anymore. So that's where the itch comes from. It's not convenient. It's not easy. There's so much work to do. There's so much life stuff to get through with someone that you might not want to know how to communicate with properly. And this gets so hard in relationships that haven't laid those foundations that it's easy to jump ship, because the ship was sinking before the 7 years. Yeah. It's all these things that led up to it.
And it's like, we tell y'all all the time that communication is so important, and it really is, because a lot of that feeling of like, oh, I'm just over this, is because there was no communication. Like, you know, because you get people that are ready to break up over small things, but it's not really over the small thing, right? But all that stuff just builds up over time. And it's like, that stuff bothered you from the beginning. you just never said anything because you were so in love and so like rose colored glasses. And then now that there are starting to be bigger issues, all the smaller stuff is making the bigger stuff even bigger. You know what I mean? Whether it be like, oh, he don't ever pick up after himself, or she don't never cook or clean or whatever. And they probably were doing that stuff from the beginning, but now maybe y'all are having a large strife, and it's straining you even more. And those small things are stretching you thinner and thinner and thinner until you break.
Exactly.
But if you would have been communicating about those things, maybe y'all would just have this one issue right now instead of so many compounding on top of each other.
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest tip I could give to get over the hump of this 7-year itch or whatever, like, is to not take off the rose colored glasses, have the hard conversations. We've told friends this before. If you having a problem in your relationship now, if that's irking you now after 6 months, a year, in 5 years, you are going to be over it. Who would want to deal with the same petty problem day in and day out for 5 years? That would break anybody down. The thing is, though, you don't have to deal with it.
Yep.
You can say something, and then if they don't change, then you know that this is probably not going to work out anyways, because they don't respect you enough to even try.
Yep. And people will say, like, oh, you shouldn't have to change for anybody, but I feel like we've definitely said this before, and we'll probably say it again. If you're not willing to change something small for somebody, that's probably not who you need to be with.
Yeah.
People will be like, oh, you shouldn't have to change for them. If they really love you, then they wouldn't ask you to do that. But some stuff you need to change for yourself anyway.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you change it for somebody you love? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just because you've never done it before doesn't mean it's not the right thing to do.
Exactly. And I think people say change and they think like this big, like, monumental sense of self. Yeah. And a lot of the times when you're coming to someone, you love who they are and their identity. The things that you're asking them to change
have nothing to do with
nothing to do with their personal identity.
Your shopping problem is not a part of your identity.
That's not a personality trait.
It's not.
Your inability to start the dishwasher is not a personality trait.
Not at all. The fact that you don't put your clothes in the hamper, not a personality trait. You could definitely change it. You can change
that. You can change and become the type of person who starts the dishwasher or manages your money better, or, you know, any of those things for the sake of your partner's happiness and your happiness together.
Yep.
And that would be the second thing. Be willing to take the critique sometimes, take it on the chin, and realize none of us are perfect. And sometimes the things that your partner is asking you to do, it might be small, but it might be the make or break.
And it might be extremely important.
Yeah.
A lot of the times I notice in relationships that people tend to be dismissive.
Yeah.
Of the way that their partner is coming to them with, like, hey, this is the issue I'm having. Is there a way that we can fix this as a couple to move forward? And you just like, well, it didn't bother you a month ago.
Yeah.
Well, it's bothering me now. Can we find a way to get past it? And instead of fixing it, you're just like, oh, I don't care what you're talking about. Like, come on now. Yeah. This is your partner. Exactly. You guys are working towards a future, and you're dismissing the things that they say as if they just some nigga off the street, which is crazy.
Yeah. I was actually watching Abbott Elementary, which I loved. She kind of walked in on it, so she was kind of like, what the hell is this? But the main character, Quinta Brunson's character, she has a boyfriend of 10 years, and he's a wannabe rapper that basically drives her car around all day while she's at work. And she tells him one day when she's getting dropped off at the school, hey, our rent is going up, and I really need you to look at the budget. It's on the fridge. And he's just like, oh, yeah, whatever. and he keeps dismissing her and keeps dismissing her, and that just seems like such a small thing. It's such a small ask. Look at the budget so we can move forward and know what to do. And it's like, so like, it's not important to me. And when you're telling someone constantly that the thing that they're saying is not important, eventually they're going to internalize and start to feel like they're not important.
Yeah.
And you could literally just see that on the show, to where she got to her breaking point and was like, just do it. Just look at the damn fucking sheet. It's not that big of a deal. Just look at it.
And then you get that person and they're like, why they tripping? But you literally been dismissing everything I say for the last 2 weeks.
It's just causing unnecessary tension and strife.
Mm-hmm.
When life is already stressful enough. You don't have to add to anybody's plate, and you shouldn't have to accept any more bullshit from your partner, let alone
you get enough from the world,
the rest of the world.
Especially like, we are queer people doing a show, for everybody, but for queer people. You know what I mean?
We're both black women.
Black lesbian women. Like, when you're in a space like that, I don't need any negativity at my house
at all.
We deal with so much being marginalized. You know what I mean? That it's like, I don't want to deal with that shit from my wife. I just don't.
I don't want to deal with any gaslighting. I don't want to deal with the dismissive attitude.
I got to deal with the white man in America out in this world, and I want to come into my home and feel heard and seen and valid, and know that I don't have to feel like I need to get out of anybody's way or make myself smaller or change who I am in order to make somebody else happy. Because this is a relationship and we're supposed to be making each other happy.
Exactly.
And
like I said, 7 years of feeling like you're not seen, not heard, not safe. Yeah, you're going to want to leave. Yeah. So maybe the itch is real. But like I said, it's if you're building on top of mud, your house is going to crumble.
Yeah. To me, also, like, don't use the 7-year itch as an excuse to be an asshole in your relationship. Yeah. If you're not happy, it probably happened way before the 7-year itch. Exactly. I think a lot of the times people just, kind of what we've been saying, reach their breaking point at that time. And that's where a lot of that statistic of like the 7-year itch comes in at, because you've been holding on to a bad relationship that you knew you didn't want to be in for so long. And that was the time where I'm ready for it to be over. Yeah. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to cheat and I'm going to break your heart, or I'm going to do what I want to do. And we just going to call it quits. And but like, you could have did that in year 3 when you realized that wasn't the person for you. Yeah. But I see a lot that people hold on to relationships that they know are not good for them, that they're not going to go anywhere, or, I don't know. So, yeah, maybe the 7-year itch does exist. You could tell us, y'all let us know. To me, everything is just an excuse. Y'all already know that. Everything is an excuse for you to do what you want and not be grown and not communicate. And that's just not life. So how about you? Put your big girl panties on.
Put them on, sis. You can do this.
Figure it out. Be grown. Say what you got to say. Be clear, direct, and loving with your partner. And hopefully everything goes great, and there is no 7-year itch, and you could just keep it moving.
Yeah, because even if you bail out of one relationship, the next one's not going to be no better if you're not getting better. That's just my opinion, though.
Nah, baby. It was the partner. It wasn't them. So the relationship. Would be
Oh, okay. All my exes are crazy type.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do it.
It's never you. It's always them.
Red flag, but whatever.
Yeah. So.
All right, you guys. We appreciate you guys for rocking with us today. Interesting topic. Please weigh in on the Instagrams, Wifey, letter N, Wifey. If you're listening on Spotify or streaming, jump over to YouTube, comments, like all the things.
Random. If you have followed me on Instagram, don't do it anymore because my Instagram got hacked. Wavy_painter is dead.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, just thought I'd throw that in there.
We'll throw in new handles. I'm still at Tuesday Rights. She's at Wavy.painter. Turning over a new leaf, doing some new things.
Yeah, so we appreciate you guys for being here. As always, thanks for rocking with us. And we are out of here, y'all. Peace. Should have been doing peace like this the whole time. Vagina peace. Oh. What's your problem? Close your mouth.